Ahoy there, and welcome back to DohMance Dawn, your podcast for people to talk about One Piece and The Simpsons at the same time. And also, I'm Luke, he, him, sometimes they, them, and I'm joined by an interesting fact that despite being around for like a year, Quibi got at least 6 Primetime Emmy nominations for a single category. I'm also joined by my wonderful co-host, Janine.
Hello, my name is Janine Juliet. My pronouns are she, they, and I don't have a third thing to say. Look what we
Sorry,
do in the show.
seven Primetime Emmy nominations with 1 win for Quibi shows. No, wait, 8? No, 2 wins and then 6 not. We're talking about Quibi here, Janine. You remember Quibi?
I don't. As soon as you hit me with that, I was like, oh wow, yeah. It was short for quick bites and what was on it, and I had nothing.
Uh, there was the Sam Raimi show about the man with the golden arm. Paula Pell apparently had a series that got 2 of those 6 non-winning nominations. Or, sorry, 1 of those non-winning nominations, 1 of those wins. A Primetime Emmy Award, my friend. Like, Quibi is back. We are bringing Quibi back in the year 2025 because nothing means anything anymore. Chaos reigns, my power grows, and when the moon has reached its zenith and the dark pool in the middle of the Pacific Ocean rises up and the dark energy has flown into me, we're just going to have to see what goes on with that, my friend. Yeah!
And I'm Janine.
Yeah, welcome back to DohMance Dawn. If you know what this podcast is supposed to be about, well, chaos energy is. Sorry, I don't know how I got to looking at Quibi. Oh wait, no, I was thinking about.
Do you know how you get when you start looking at Quibi?
I mean, I was just looking on Wikipedia, and I think I was trying to remember who Claire Scanlon was, and then she had apparently done all of the episodes of a Quibi show I was looking at, and then I saw, wait, it got an Emmy nomination? It got an Emmy win? What? Anyway, yeah, we're here to talk about a simpler time, February 7th through March 14th of the year 2010. This would have been after that time that I called in sick to, or no, I said that I was completely snowed in because I didn't want to go back to McDonald's and work the day after because I made poor choices and ended up taking a 5-hour bus ride that did not actually get me home and was not actually a bus ride the entire way because of Pittsburgh snow.
I have no idea what I was doing around this time. I'm surprised I was alive for it.
I'm glad you were. I'm glad that you were still alive. And I'm glad that the people who are listening to this podcast are still alive, unless you're, like, using this as evidence in a court case against Janine and I because you found out what we did with the diamonds.
Everything that's being said is for entertainment purposes and is not actual,
Medical advice. Legally admissible.
Sure.
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic erotica.
Maybe not that.
If you've come here for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic erotica, you're in the wrong place. But you've made it about 5 minutes into the show so far, so put up or shut up. We have three Simpsons episodes to discuss today. The first is Boy Meets Curl, where Homer and Marge end up curling on a date, and Marge is very talented. Unlike Homer, Agnes tells Marge to not let her love for Homer make her lose, and then they like are really good at curling because this was during Curling Mania, and basically they're trying to get into the Olympic qualifiers. Marge ends up breaking her shoulder to make up for Homer's lack of skill, and then they're about to drop out, but Homer helps Marge realize that she can use her other arm because he feels guilty because she is backing him up, and so Agnes also realizes she can love Seymour because he cost her Olympic chance because she Olympicked while pregnant, which good on you, and the team wins demonstration gold. And then the B plot is Lisa starts collecting Olympic pins, which turns into an addiction where she ends up trading away her pearls, and then Bart helps her by cutting her cold turkey and then makes Fatov a fake pin to get her pearls back. And this is where all the Fatov memes come from.
There are Fatov memes?
Yeah. Are you not down with Fatov memes?
I guess I'm not, but now I'm glad that there are because I did love like Fatov like as a shape.
Mm-hmm. Like Fatov, I think evolved into the fake Simpsons character at a point because it was one of the Graggle. Yeah, it evolved into like the Graggle in a way, where the
Mm.
Graggle was a character who has been retroactively added into the Simpsons and just very much a weird thing. I don't care for Graggle memes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing hot takes. This is essentially like this could have just been a retread of Tennis the Menace, being that it's a sports one. I don't think that Marge is served all that well by the plot. Like Homer's desire to not hold her back doesn't lead him to try and work more, which I think could have been better, or he doesn't really say anything. I think this could have used some more. But the Lisa subplot's solid. A Lisa breakdown can usually be pretty fun.
I think that it was cathartic seeing Seymour finally get some level of validation from his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she went pretty hard on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that despite the fact that Homer's entire thing is just letting Marge overwork the other arm
So they don't have to give up.
so they don't have to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. And like despite that, it comes back around for me because they are adorable.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like we don't get to see Homer and Marge be adorable together enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can be. Like, Dan Castellaneta has, like, a very adorable boyish charm he could bring to Homer's voice by just the romantic things that Homer and Marge do.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, comforting in a nostalgia sense, but, like, the fact that it's, like, I don't know. This is too important to me.
I'll allow it. The next episode is a weird one. It's the color yellow, and Lisa is assigned to make a family tree and finds out that most of the Simpsons' ancestors are awful. She then finds the journal of Eliza Simpson, who is part of the Underground Railroad. Her family tries to Lisa, the modern Simpsons try to hide Eliza's diary so Lisa doesn't end up getting disappointed. But then Lisa keeps reading on about how Eliza tried to help Virgil, who's a slave, but then the book runs out. Mabel, Eliza's mother, wrote a cookbook which continued the story. They hide in the circus, and then Virgil convinces Hiram, Eliza's father, her father, to let them stay with wheel cakes, which are donuts, and then Lisa presents the story to the school. But Milhouse brings up that his own ancestor, Milford, saw Burns beat Virgil's location out of Hiram, and Eliza did nothing. And Lisa gets upset and then tries to find out more, going to a film vault where she finds a video where Eliza admitted she regretted doing nothing. But then Grandpa has the end of the story where it turned out that Mabel protected Virgil, took him to Canada. They fell in love along the way, got married, and then gave birth to Abraham Simpson's ancestor. And really, what I'm trying to say here is, you remember that Family Guy episode early on where it turned out that Peter had a black ancestor?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mind just kept going back to that because this one tries to like treat this as, I feel, a more prestigious and like important thing in a way that I don't think that it works out. Like, it's too many twists. Milhouse, I don't think, would butt in on Lisa this way. And it like, there's nothing that's really going to be gained from them being, I believe it's like 1/72 black. I do not remember the exact percentage or fraction. It's weird.
It is weird. I mean, like, they say the dumbest white people shit when they find out that they're a very small percentage black.
Mm-hmm.
And it is embarrassing.
Yeah. But you know what's a lot better than both of those shows we just mentioned?
What's that?
Oh, the new season of American Dad has been great.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. They do an episode where they do a shit. What's the movie with the graboids? Tremors. Yeah, they do a Tremors, and it's great. Just American Dad is in its 21st season. That's like a equivalent to where we are in The Simpsons, and American Dad can still consistently deliver stories that do not make me feel like, oh, hey, here's a major issue with the story. They don't have these hanging lines. They don't have these things that feel very out of character for them. And they still try and do, and generally succeed at making weird things. Sometimes there's a story about having to do a Space Jam against Hellraisers. You have anything else to add before we go to the last Simpsons episode?
No, let's go to the last Simpsons episode. I don't want to stay in this one.
American Dad, I salute you. The last episode is Postcards from the Wedge, where Bart doesn't get a project done in time, so Edna sends a letter home, and Homer and Marge end up meeting. And Marge is concerned about Bart's workload for no real reason, while Homer is dismissive and harsh on Bart, and so Bart tries to set them against each other, and as this escalates, their fight gets bigger. Marge talks to Patty and Selma, who talk about long-term relationships, and Ned, who talks about how he had an argument with Maude just before she died, and Homer has a dream about And Homer has a dream about killing Marge, and then they find each other and apologize, and Homer decides not to care about Bart anymore because of the fighting. And then Bart and Milhouse prank Skinner, and then they run away into an abandoned subway and cause earthquakes across the town, but Homer still doesn't care. And Bart is worried about his parents not punishing him anymore, so he decides to destroy the school with the subway. Lisa tells Homer and Marge after she gets a note, and they pull the brakes in time, though the school still falls apart. Homer and Marge both are aligned on punishing him, and then Lisa reveals that she knows that Bart wrote the note that informed her. And this is another weird one where I don't buy the character dynamics enough. Like, we don't get a good reason for Marge to go in this direction. And so it's ultimately just say, oh, well, what if we try and split them up? What if we set Marge and Homer against each other? And I don't think it works. But I do love an underground subway.
Homer and Marge start off so cute, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just ends up just being so unrealistic. I mean, I get that the humor is like in just how much more you can be, how over the top you can be able to be with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets to the point where it's just like, okay, like no person would be that light on a kid or that fucking rough on a kid. Like it feels like it's trying to say something, and if it's trying to say what I think it's trying to say, it sucks.
Yep. It's a bad time.
But I also feel like these episodes feel like they were kind of very popular sentiments at the time.
Yeah, there was definitely. I don't want to blame the color yellow on the Obama presidency, but I'm also going to blame the color yellow on the Obama presidency. And you know what? I think Barack Obama can deal with that. These are three very these are like one pretty solid episode and then two pretty weak ones, in my opinion. Not bad, just solid C.
It just it feels like a weird slump from some pretty good episodes we had earlier
Mhm.
this season.
Yeah. All right. New characters we can use now include Batov, Milhouse, Ivan Reitman, Woody Sheeding, Mel Jr. Ash Ketchum, and all the others. Yep. We're recording on a Monday. Normally we record on Sunday night, and it's been a weird Monday. Janine, do you know what I did today?
What did you do today?
I got my Scarlet and Violet Pokedex and Pokemon Home completed.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh. So I got my shiny Meloetta. Now I just have like 19 Pokemon that I can't get because you can't really trade for them in Pokemon Home. And you can't send them from Pokemon Go, so I just have to wait until they start re-releasing all the mythics in Scarlet and Violet in probably a year or so. But we're not here to talk about Pokemon. We're here to talk about episodes 437 through 442 of One Piece. These titles include Because He's My Friend, Bon, Courageous Do or Die Rescue,
Paradise in Hell, Impel Down, level 5.5.
Luffy's treatment begins. Eva Sun's miraculous power.
Believe in miracles. Bon Courage hears from his Heart.
Luffy revives Eva-san's jailbreak. Plan begins.
Ace's convoy starts. The offense and defense of the lowest level, level 6. Bleh.
Ooh. We got a Countess Dracula. So, after his fight with Magellan, Luffy is left with 24 hours until he dies in agony on level 5, the freezing hell. Oh, and what's this?
Dimple, dimple,
Oh my god.
Level 5 is full of snow. Dimple, dimple, dimply too. Let's talk about this torture for you.
This is a hell that really is cold.
Which actually is not as much of a surprise if you've read Dante's Inferno or Tacitus.
Hey, guy, you stopped rhyming.
Well, yeah, the betas are stretched out pretty far at this point.
Also, you didn't link to the Blue Gory SoundCloud.
In fact, you should be in this hell as its trigger.
I'd actually argue that this is the hell for treachery. Like, if we're talking Cassita, that is the hell for treachery against people you have a special relationship with, and it doesn't really apply to any of y'all.
We have no control. Dimple, dimple, dimply dyke. The Blue Gory are going on strike. Dimple, dimple, dimply too. Janine, will you side with us too?
Lucario Hare, what have you been getting into?
I told you I spent most of the day wrapping up my Pokedex in Pokemon Hub, and then I was like, oh, it's like 30 minutes before recording. I've got to quickly write these down, and then I told you when I was heading downstairs to record, and then I had 15 minutes to record, and yeah, the Blagori are going on strike. I thought about, oh, hey, it would be a great idea to just like maybe hit up some people and like talented musicians, so it wasn't just me bringing this bit back again for like the third time. But it was like, no, the Blagori can do it. They are getting their bag of cheddar Chex Mix party mix, and that's what they get paid. It's Willy Wonka rations here. It's Willy Wonka wages here. And I'm Charlie in this chocolate factory. Feel like great class elevator.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a weird book. Remember that person de-ages into like non-existence?
I'm sure that's a fetish.
Probably. But yeah. So are you siding with the Blagori?
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Blue lives don't matter.
Christ, Janine! hot, hot, hot. Do you specifically mean cops don't matter, or blue gorillas, or well, I guess A B G A B? All blue gory are bastards.
So where are we in One Piece?
As Magellan plans to leave, he finds that Hannibal and the guards were knocked out while Bentham has vanished. Hannibal then brings Buggy and Galadino into an interrogation room, revealing that he is Bentham, Mr. 2. He feels guilty for leaving Luffy behind, so he wants to save him, and that's going to involve getting him an antidote, but it turns out that Magellan uses so many poisons that there's no actual way to get Luffy an antidote. So he decides that he is going to have to find the miracle worker Ivankov, who went missing in the prison, and takes Buggy and Galadino to the 5th floor. Bentham then finds out that a lot of prisoners have vanished, and they assume that Ivankov has also vanished. As they go to the 5th floor, they are forced to give up their warm weather clothes, and they start to freeze immediately as they are also attacked by army wolves. It's like wolves, but they have no other job prospects where they live. Buggy and Galadina run away, abandoning Bentham, and they run for a jail cell to try and avoid the wind, and then they find out that they are still cold inside the cell as the wolves continue to chase them. Truly, prison is hell. The now blind Luffy, meanwhile, tries to break out of the jail cell where he is, and the other prisoners tell him to stop trying to help other people, but then Bentham appears with the keys to save him. Galadino tries to break into a cell, but his wax gets so cold that the key breaks. But then Galadino's just like, hey, we can use a mobile wax fortress to escape. And then the wolves dig into the fortress. Oh, those guys. Will they ever win? It is weird bits of Luffy is going to die. He's under unbearable pain right now. And then, oh, hey, look at these two chuckle fucks. Getting bit by wolves, getting Looney Tunes.
I do love the pairing of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a shipping way, but
No,
also, I'll get back to you on that. I haven't thought about it in the shipping way, and I need to move it around my head
they are
like a lava lamp.
They are a searchable AO3 pairing, and it's I don't see either of them really being good at picking up women. They're both losers in very specific ways that make them lovable as characters to see things happen to, but also they just kind of be unbearable IRL. And they don't have Riz. Except that Buggy somehow did make an entire crew that loves him to very wild degrees, and it was literally, oh, he's been trapped in a hell prison, so I guess we have to abandon him, or else this pretty lady will beat us with a club.
Here's the thing, though. You really underestimate clown fuckers. It's like a clown fucker would bend over backwards for any type of clown that has the least bit of confidence.
And Buggy does have a lot of clownfidence.
Exactly.
So, Bentham leaves the keys for the other prisoners and then starts asking where he can find Eva, and he is directed to the forest that is full of more wolves! As Bentham fights the wolves to defend Luffy, he's overpowered until Luffy joins in the fight and uses Haki to knock them out, but they both pass out and are saved by the mysterious Inazuma. Hannibal, meanwhile, is stuck, tied up, and trapped because he was too horny to be free. Which, fair. On the upper floors, the riots are getting shut down, though Sadie notices that some of the keys are missing as she tries to find Bentham. Bentham, meanwhile, wakes up and finds himself on level 5.5, the hidden jail level. And oh, hey, Janine, you know how you didn't stand with them? How you didn't stand with the Blagori?
Yeah.
Dimple, dimple, dimply day. The secret level is really gay. Dimple, dimple, dimply too. We live with pride and love hard too.
Are you tired of all of these hormones?
Are you in need of some hormones?
This is a floor where miracles spring.
A place to leave the hope you bring.
Luffy's got some HRT.
Dimple, dimple, impelita. This is level 5.5. Dimple, dimple, impelita. Viva la revolution too.
Yeah, get out. They actually don't get paid for level 5.5. Don't give me that look. Oh, you're going to do something? Yeah, double fingers to you. Okay. So, Inazuma explains that Bentham slept for 10 hours after he was saved, and that's when they find they are in New Kama Land, where Emporio Ivankov introduces himself. And, yeah, it's Bentham getting to go to Pride. We have Bella, the guy whose father transitioned with help from Eva, who shows up to try and kill Eva, but then Eva films him with hormone powers and declares that gender is a construct. Hell yeah. Yeehaw!
Is my car gonna be okay out there? You saw some Blugori go out there and they're just looking really pissed.
They got from Ohio really fast. I also don't know why they'd go after your car, because I mean, my car. Like, some of them are still in. Are they velociraptoring us? Are they doing a clever girl? Yeah. So I think a while back I mentioned that like this would probably be S plus rank for you in terms of like Devil Fruit ranking.
Yeah, we can go ahead and even put it there on the ranking for if you listen to the SBS, you know the rankings.
Yeah. I mean, we'll cover it when we get there because we've had other powers that we need to get around to ranking. But so far this year, we've been able to just continue to record. Wait until I potentially have a new job that fucks with all that.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! I would love to make money again.
That would be nice. I
Mhm.
want that for you. I want
you.
good things for you, like money and also fine cheeses. What do Lukes eat?
I mean, I have been using some nice aged Gouda. I've been doing like a French bread pizza, but the problem with French bread is that because it is a very crusty bread, if you don't eat the entire thing in a few days, it goes bad and it gets harder and harder. And so, what I realized you can do is the local Giant Eagle has sausage rolls that you can get, like buns for sausages that are larger than a hot dog bun. They come in packs of 6 as opposed to packs of 4. And so, what you do is you cut one of those in half, and then you put some melted butter on it, put it into the oven on 400 for about 5 minutes while you prep your other ingredients. Take that out because now that has toasted into like a beautiful yellow gold in the bread. You add on your other toppings. So I'll usually do a traditional pizza, or what I've done a lot recently is a barbecue chicken pizza, and I am using some famous Cincinnati barbecue sauce. Do you have a lot of barbecue opinions? Because I know that like barbecue is one of those Texas things.
Oh yeah.
I've been using a Montgomery Inn barbecue sauce, and so I put on like a good layer of that, some very finely diced red onion, and then I accidentally bought a thing of like pre-sliced turkey instead of chicken, but the turkey works really well because it's got a bit more flavor than I think a lot of the chicken does, and then top it off with some mozzarella and then some freshly shaved aged Gouda. And you put that in for about 10 minutes, 10 or 11 minutes, and then at the end of that, you just broil up. You use a broiler for like not even a minute just to get everything cooked a bit more, and then you got a good meal. Luke cooking segment. Janine didn't really ask for this.
I mean, it still fascinates the hell out of me. I love the way your mind works. Remember when we had talked about Quibi?
Uh-huh. Oh,
That was
I
the
did
same
have
podcast. This same one we're recording right now.
I also have the Skyline ice cream. And
You
Skyline
like
chili
you
ice
do
cream.
you want to get into it? Because I think it is totally gross.
Okay, Janine, have you had a cinnamon ice cream before?
I've had a cinnamon ice cream before.
And how do you feel about a cinnamon ice cream?
It's fine.
So what if you were going to get a, like, I feel like a cinnamon can either go in the way where it's a bit more like piquant, like it's a peppery cinnamon, or you can go for like a more well-rounded, like sweet cinnamon. And this is more of like a well-rounded sweet cinnamon with some additional spices in there. I think there's some cloves and stuff. So you're kind of like building on this solid base of a like warm cinnamony ice cream, and then inside that ice cream are salty oyster crackers.
I don't know if I should trust that. I mean, I've been saying like with my friends like every once in a while that like I've never done the milkshake and fry thing, so I don't really get that whole.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the oyster crackers, it's gonna probably be like the same kind of concept with that. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like having a graham cracker or a cookie in your ice cream, except it's a bit salty. Also, I went and got it last Monday at like 2 in the afternoon, and the guy was just like, "Yeah, no, I'll just give you the cone for free." And so I got to try it for free.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh, podcasts.
Podcast, yes.
Podcasts. Yeah.
We might have like just done a backdoor pilot for like 3 different podcasts in this podcast.
If people want me to do weird cooking things, I am going to be very disappointing to all of you because I don't know how to cook very many things, but I do help my wife in the kitchen because I have decent enough knife skills, and I just don't like cooking for myself.
Well, that's good news for the Quibi crowd.
Uh-huh. Because that means that I'm going to be making you quick bites.
What if
we
you
brought
did?
it back.
What if we reviewed a Quibi thing and a recipe at the same time
Like
for a
quick
Quibi
bites,
squared?
like when TBS used to do dinner in a movie.
But with a Quibi.
Yeah, no, I get that. But there used to be the dinner in a movie where it was like Jason Biggs and his wife would host a TV show, and at like the same time, oh wow, they had a bunch of various hosts on that. Janet Varney was one of the hosts for a while. Though also mentally, I have no clear idea of like how old Janet Varney is. So you know who Janet Varney is, right, Janine?
Yeah. I've heard her podcast before, and I've heard her as
Cora.
the voice of Cora,
Mhm.
which is weird because I've also heard her podcast, and it's like I kind of know how you are as a person, and like there's so many things that feel like I can see where the Janet Varney is in Cora now.
Mhm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Every artist puts a little bit of themselves inside of any role that they play.
Uh-huh. The Japanese voice actor for Ivankov, the first one, ended up getting arrested because they had their entire body tattooed and took photos to prove it, and that broke Japanese obscenity laws.
That sucks.
Yeah. But the first voice actor was also like friends with Oda and helped to expose him to drag culture, which is one of those things where it's like, great, and also there's some less great stuff with how queer men in particular are depicted. So, or queer drag, the lack of a clear vocabulary used by Oda to define the identities of certain members of the new Kama is not great.
I'll tell you this though.
Uh-huh.
The other night, I talked to my homegirl Robin about this at a transgender meetup, and we were snapping our fingers, just going off on just everything we liked about this, but also everything that we still hated about that island that Sanji's on. And just exactly how it doesn't necessarily balance out well. It doesn't erase things that have already like come up and felt pretty shitty.
Yeah.
But this does feel like it's better, and it feels like something that like I got to talk about with a group of trans people and celebrate just its absurdity and power fantasy and kind of paradise that it shows. And so culturally, as a trans person, this fucks.
Yeah, no, like the dub is explicitly like gender is a construct. It's like hell yeah. Like just them explicitly saying that compared to like what we had from earlier Bon Clay stuff where it's like, oh yeah, we're kind of like joking around things, but we can't say anything. And honestly, the stuff with Sanji and the island, you can kind of argue, well, maybe there are no HRT options there, but at the same time, they do not need to be depicted as monstrously as they are, for lack of a better term. And the podcast that I like that Dylan and Dalton do, former guests of the show, has had 2 back-to-back main canon episodes that have been kind of trans horror centered in a way that has been rough for a lot of the trans listeners of the show. And I'm not saying that they necessarily need to do an Ivankov character, because I don't think it would necessarily fit into the like logic of the dark universe, and especially the tone where they are now. But it's just kind of like, yeah, there are times where you need some fun and ridiculous power fantasies and just like getting some unequivocal wins in. So I would love all of my friends who would be down with it to get jabbed by Ivankov.
Hell yeah.
So
better yet, give me the horm-horm fruit.
Yeah. You got it. Like, trans all their genders, both protectively and aggressively.
Blunt force feminization.
I mean, we'll get to it, but like the second scene where the guard gets transformed was like someone on the anime writing staff was like, well, we need to fill something out, and I've found some things in DeviantArt that have woken up some stuff. So yeah, let's add another scene, like, you know, get a woman in a nice white outfit. That's what it is. So yeah, One Piece. So Bentham asks Eva to help Luffy, and Eva reveals that Luffy asked them to say Bentham first. My pronouns for Eva are going to be inconsistent, but also Eva's pronouns are also very kind of inconsistent, as is their gender. So I will do my best here. So please be chill. And Eva already started helping Luffy, who is currently tied up and screaming. And basically, to save Luffy's life, it is going to cost 10 years of his life, and Luffy has 2 days of healing to get through thanks to the healing hormone. And as Bentham prays, and like Bentham hears how much Luffy is screaming, it's like, no, just let Luffy die. And he was like, nope, Luffy is going to get through it or die. I'm not doing anything else. Because he wants everyone to live their dreams, and there's tunnels all over the prison that they're using to support this paradise. And the tunnels were created by a prisoner who could make tunnels. And Janine,
Dun, 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 dun. Rawr.
it's a prisoner who can make tunnels watch. And the funniest thing is, the two of them are going to get reconnected later in like 600 episodes. And be completely unaware of it.
Huh. Okay.
Yep. And so the main base that they have is between levels 5 and 6. Level 6 is where the worst of the worst are. It is Eternal Hell, which is hidden, which is where the world government hides those with dangerous knowledge. Oh, and look who's back here now. The Ligori. What, are you going to do another song?
Dimple, Impelidix. The last floor is level 6. Dimple, Impelidu. There's not a lot of this song to do.
Yeah, there is not a lot of that one for them to do. Okay, cool. We're done with new floors. You can get out. Like in the movie, get out. So, Ivankov warns that level 6 has Shiryu, who was the old warden, who was worse than Magellan because he just had no problem killing prisoners for whatever reason, as well as Crocodile, Jinbei, and Ace. But also Eva notes that Luffy won't be up in time to save Ace. Bentham refuses to abandon Luffy and calls out for him to get up until he collapses, but he forces himself to keep getting up and calling out, and the other residents of New Kama end up joining him. Magellan, meanwhile, has no idea what happened to Luffy, and Hannibal gets discovered being tied up. And then Luffy's screams stop, blood runs from out of under the door, and then Luffy bangs on the door because he's hungry, calls out for meat, and Luffy's back up, Janine. Our friend was saved by hormones, and now he's hungry. Which, did you see that Reddit Ask Me Anything post where it's like, hey, do hormones make you really hungry? And it was the like mom, I think, asking about her son, who just like ate an entire like dish of green bean casserole at Thanksgiving, and then posted a note later on that it was like, oh yeah, it wasn't hormone therapy, it was they just had a bunch of weed gummies and forgot about it. Luffy energy.
Hell yeah.
So Luffy gets back up, Bentham collapses from exhaustion, and Luffy is worried about his friend, but thanks him for help. Luffy is told that he needs more time to heal, but Luffy doesn't give a shit and starts trying to head out. And he reveals that Bentham wanted to save Eva from the prison, which Eva didn't need because Eva's been waiting for Dragon. Monkey D. Dragon. And then Luffy reveals that Dragon is his dad, which Eva was unaware of. And Eva puts together the clues and figures that Luffy is telling the truth. And so because they're like seeing how big this is, Eva sends Inazuma for recon while Luffy, before Luffy heads down to floor 6, but Eva has no idea who Ace's biological father is. Eva warns Luffy to keep the truth about Dragon being his father quiet, and then decides, yeah, we're all going to break out now. So Luffy collapses, and so Eva gives Luffy a bunch of adrenaline to last him for the day, like the film Crank. I've not seen Crank. I know what I know about Crank mostly from cultural osmosis, and by cultural osmosis I mean an episode of American Dad this season.
I watched Crank.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Crank and Crank 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can recommend it. Because it's good action, but also, like, some man shit that gets weird.
Oh, like when he has to get a blowjob to keep himself going?
Yeah.
Jason Statham should have whacked himself off to keep it going. That's what a real man would do. Or get a guy to do it, because nothing's more manly than a guy whacking off another guy.
Sure. There's 2 guys there. You got more guy per guy.
Uh-huh. In fact, you can just daisy chain it. Daisy chain a bunch of dicks as a bunch of guys are cranking off to crank off. What is this podcast? How has it only been like 50 minutes? I feel like it's been a... Oh, wait, no, shit, we haven't gotten to characters yet. Okay, I'll shut up. So Hannibal, meanwhile, tries to figure out what happened with the missing prisoners. Buggy and Galadino keep running through level 4, but they wander into Magellan's gas, while Magellan and Domino head down to level 6 to get Ace in the elevator. Eva, Luffy, and Inazuma run through floor 5 fighting wolves before showing back up on the security cameras, and so Hannibal activates all the guards so that he can keep on trying to get that promotion, and Ace's execution is set for 6 hours. As the trio reaches level 6, they transform a guard to find out where Ace is, but Ace is already gone, and Jinbei is left in the cell. He recognizes Luffy from his straw hat, and Jinbei is like, hey, yeah, Ace is gone. They try and reach the elevator, but it is locked, and Hannibal then destroys it, and then they start sending sleeping gas down. Luffy gets knocked out. Ace, meanwhile, hears about Luffy, tries to escape, but is held back by Magellan. And then Buggy and Galadino reach level 3 again, where they run into the Sphinx.
Sphinx! Oh my god.
Who forces them to run away again. Inazuma, meanwhile, uses their powers to turn the floor into ribbons to block the gas thanks to the Snip Snip fruit. They deactivate the security cameras in the meantime, though Ace is handed over to the Marines. Eva asks Luffy to let Whitebeard handle saving Ace, but Luffy refuses, declaring that he is going to head to Marineford, and that is when Crocodile appears, offering to let Luffy out if he frees Crocodile. And that's where we end this episode. Janine, were you expecting the Sphinx to be back?
Honestly, I did know that a couple of elements were going to come back up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going back up while you're going further down.
Mm-hmm. It's like Halo.
It's exactly like Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief is there.
Mm-hmm. And Luffy needs someone to jack him off in the suit. Oh. And that's what the Sphinx is for.
Sphinx! I don't
All
think...
right.
It's so inefficient, though, to cause the orgasm from jacking off. Just that's so much energy that it's taking up. It would really be a lot much more efficient if you want to make Master Chief come to stimulate the prostate by going through the butt.
Yeah.
If the suit is getting him off, it's not jacking him off, is what I'm saying.
Fair. It's giving him the French tickler? Is that the thing?
Honestly, I don't know. If that ever was the lingo, I'm not sure if it's what it is being used today.
And I said, what's it called when you tickle a man's butt? And you said you don't know, but we got characters to match. We got some more Jinbei this time. Uh, do you still want to show Jinbei?
I have a couple of options for Jinbei. However, if we want to push it back, I'm just gonna keep on adding names.
I think I've got a fully new list from the other ones. So let's see if we've got like a good pick, because Jinbei is a big 5-star important. So my Rodrigo style for this episode is Virgil Simpson. My throwback is Coach Lugosh, and then my other pick I have is Gary Chalmers, Super Nintendo Chalmers, Super Ninjinbei Chalmers. Who do you have, Janine?
Well, my Rodrigo style is Fatov.
Mm-hmm.
And now knowing that Fatov is a meme, wouldn't that be a little bit charming?
Potentially.
Okay, and there's a theme for the next three because I really want to push for this because I just
Jinbei?
It's for Jinbei, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's vibes based,
Mm-hmm.
but first pick, sober Barney Gumble.
Mm-hmm. Jinbei do be drinking a lot of coffee.
Second, B Sharp John Lennon phase Barney.
Interesting.
And then finally, astronaut Barney.
Actually, Barney only trained to be an astronaut and did not escape the surly bonds. Mike Patten also put in his suggestion, which he is free to do because he is the artist, for Dr. Hip. I'm interested in where your sober Barney Gumbles are coming from.
From the dialogue that came around Jinbei, there was talk about how he had changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that particular instance of trying to be better really struck to me for the period in time where Barney tried to be better, and it worked for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the nature of the show required something different of him.
Well, and then he just kind of faded out because we haven't seen a lot of Barney in a while. Janine is just running through. When was the last time Barney was involved in a major plot?
I mean, I feel like he had to be there somewhere.
He's appeared in, I think, a few Moe's scenes, but he hasn't really had a major plotline in ages. I'm on the side of Chalmers more than Barney. But I'm good to wait, because next episode we're going to get to see Jinbei in action. And so I think that will be our good point to make our choice. But also, specifically, if you are in the Discord, if you want to leave your Jinbei suggestions, I'm open. Because Jinbei is going to be important. So we need to make room for Jinbei. All right. We then have Cairo Kureo. His name is a pun meaning give me a hand warmer, so his translated pun name is Spara Heat Pack.
That's adorable.
My Rodrigo style was Milhouse. My throwback was the Ice Homer Simpson statue, and then I had Frostilicus. Who do you have?
I only had Frozen Viking Jasper.
Is that the Frostilicus where he freezes himself in the Quickie Mart?
Yep.
All right. Yep, Frostilicus has it. I can't wait to regret Frostilicus. Luke and Janine both get points. We then have Muchana, whose name is a pun on unreasonable, and so the translated name is Nada Magician. Who do you have for Muchana?
Here's the thing.
It's clobbering time.
Fuck you, man. Oh, not really.
You want to try that again?
No. So, I caught myself because I was going to say it again. Is the thing.
I know. I waited because you said it earlier this episode. It's like, no, Janine's on a roll.
So, Rodrigo style, Milford Van Houten.
Mm-hmm.
And before the show, I got a little high.
What?
I know, right? I never do
Christian
such a thing.
Anime
I just I don't remember putting this down for this character, but I have Jesus Homer.
Interesting. My Rodrigo style was Mouse MD, where there's an Itchy doing a house parody. I also had Romco Change Magician Commercial Man from the Romco Change Magician commercial. And then Richie Sakai. I'm not sure why I put Richie Sakai on there. I think it was something. I think I tried to look up the word unreasonable on Frikiak and he came up. But I like Mouse MD.
I have Mouse MD for another choice, though.
Ooh, who do you have Mouse MD for?
Usakov.
Interesting. Because, I mean, Muchana is a doctor. But not a magician. Let's table this for now.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So we then have Tsukoshiba Kanishitoru. His name is a pun on making fun of him a little, so his translated name is low-key clownin'. Which is a good pun. I had Canadian Nelson here. My throwback was the Energizer Bunny. And then I had Homie the Clown, because, you know, Homie is a low-key clowning. Who do you have, J-Dog?
I just had the Rodriguez pick a Bus Stop Bill. I was being mean to him. But I do like the energy of the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, I'm going to use the Energizer Bunny then.
Good, because he keeps going and going and going and going and going and going.
You know that it was initially the Duracell Rabbit.
Really?
And then Energizer was like, oh yeah, well look at our fucking rabbit. This one's going to keep going. It's the not like us of commercial rabbits.
I guess. Damn.
Mm-hmm. We then have Kanoko. Kanoko means mushroom, so his translated name is mushroom. I had Rodrigo style Ivan Reitman. My throwback was the Turkish ship captain who Marge tempted with mushroom soup. You can make meals out of it. That's how I make my famous I got this recipe from my dad tuna noodle casserole. And then Pumpkinhead Man, because his head is shaped like a pumpkin. Who do you have?
I had the pin seller. I was looking through criminals and found him, and I was like, oh, that's also Rodrigo style. I'll throw it down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I do like the... I do like that captain. I appreciate a man who could be tempted with a mushroom soup.
It's like that song said, tempted by the soup of another.
Oh my god.
Condensed mushroom soup of the other.
You're too good at that.
Yeah. So Turkish ship captain?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Alright, we then have Inazuma, our gender fluid assistant to Ivankov. Yeehaw! Who do you have for Inazuma?
I have Martha the librarian that got busy in the film vault that one time.
Hell yeah!
And I have Countess Dracula, which is the second time that has been said in this podcast.
That's true. We do support lady vampires for all their rights and wrongs. Take a bite out of Janine's neck if you are Camilla style.
Oh my god, her canine teeth in the side of my neck.
Yay! My Rodrigo style was Fatov, just because that color scheme. I also had semi-canonically trans Judge Constance Harm. And then also, here is one that you maybe didn't expect. Waylon Smithers Jr., who also, in a later season, does drag. And has been a prime form of both quiet assistance, lots of skill, snippy comebacks, and also has sometimes had jokes about being on hormones.
The thing is, I personally like Constance Harm for this particular role, but I'm also so intrigued that you're willing to put Smithers on the line that I almost just want to throw that one out there just for the gall of it.
I mean, there's plenty of Smithers variants out there. I mean, I forgot someone who I had for my Ivankov pick that we had used on sort of a throwaway bit. But no, I'm comfortable putting Waylon Smithers Jr. on here.
Let's give it a Smithers.
Hell yeah. Yeehaw! Alright, we then have Preswa, one of the newcomer. And my Rodrigo style, for no real reason, was Bob Costas. My throwback was Smith College representation, and then I had Stewart, one of the assorted gay background characters of The Simpsons. Who do you have for Francois, Janine?
Strongman pin.
Strongman pin. I'm going to just do Strongman pin if you want to use Strongman pin.
Let's do Strongman pin. The thing about Francois is that Francois looks like at least 2, maybe 3 trans men that I know.
Hell yeah. All right. And then we got Ivankov. The order on the sheet that I shared had something slightly out of order, but let's do Ivankov. My Rodrigo style is Wilhelmina of Prussia, because there weren't really a lot of great choices. My throwback was Barnacle Bay Fisherman, and then I will let you give me your suggestions before I go for my wild pick for Ivankov. So who do you have?
Well, see, it feels very odd because I had Licorice Whip Smithers.
Mm-hmm. A Licorice Whip.
The very same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I could be able to do that we have like a Smithers in another role, like so close by.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that Smithers is low-key serving cunt in that. But my Rodrigo style is Monsieur Wee Wee. And that's because I'm a fucking child.
Fair. So, Janine?
Yes.
We know that Ivankov is a revolutionary.
Yes.
We know that Ivankov is supportive of the new comma community.
Yes.
So, I have a suggestion for someone who has changed their gender in the past, has shown attraction to men and women, and will show that in the future, who has suffered chemical-related gender changes. A person who is an elk, a Mason, a communist, the president of the Gay and Lesbian Alliance, and a drag performer back in World War II. I'm talking about World War II Abe Simpson.
Mike, you're never going to believe this. You're going to have to draw Abe Simpson in drag.
Janine, I came to play. I came to win.
Yeah. For all the marbles, goddamn.
Yeah. Like, this would have been normal Abe Simpson, but we used him for Murder Grandpa. So, yeah. Abe Simpson is a bit of a weirdo fireball who, you know what? I'd trust him to fight Nazis and fascists. All right, we then have Sunikov and Usakov, and what is this?
Pere.
So we only got one submission from the person who picked these two characters to be on the list. Reverse Eye Patch suggested Popsicle Stick Lenny and Carl, or behind the scenes actors Lenny and Carl from the Simpsons Behind the Laughter episode. Which I'm not entirely sure if I vibe with those. My Rodrigo styles were Subway Sam and Motorcar Mel. My throwbacks were Grady and Julio. And then I also had on Ernie and Big Tom. Are you familiar with Ernie and Big Tom, Janine?
I am not.
They are Mayor Quimby's two bodyguards who are later on revealed to be having a relationship with each other.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Who do you have for Sunikov and Usakov?
Well, for Sunikov, I had Flying Moose.
Mm-hmm.
And for Usakov, I had... Well, that's when I had Mouse MD.
Mm-hmm.
And Trix the Rabbit from the Serial Killer video game.
Mm-hmm.
I do like these gay bodyguards.
Yeah. There are, unfortunately, not going to be a lot of opportunities for gay bodyguards.
I mean, you got to get them in where you can.
Mm-hmm. So, are you on the side of Ernie and Big Tom?
Yes.
Hell yeah. All right, we then have Bellet, the prince who is force-femmed. Who do you have for Bellet?
I had bearded Eliza Simpson.
When they go into the circus to hide out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest bearded woman.
Sisters are doing it for themselves. All right. And then, did you have anyone else?
I did not. Who did you have?
I had Mel Jr. as my Rodrigo style. Prince Ralph of Austria, just Prince for a Prince, and then the representation of Radcliffe College for no real reason. I just wanted to get a third one in there, and was like, oh, I'm already looking at these college representatives, so. I'm good to do bearded Eliza Simpson if you want.
Yeah.
All right. We then have Shiryu, and we've pretty much got all of his stuff understood by now. He's an asshole who will kill people, and who's apparently going to be coming back. I had on my Rodrigo style Colonel Burns. My throwback was the warden from the Frying Game, and then Leopold, the guy who used to exist to spook people up about Chalmers. They have a similar vibe. Who do you have, Janine?
I also had Colonel Burns, but I also had Hiram Simpson.
Interesting.
I don't think they're both just as bad. I just both think that both of them were capable of such terribleness.
Fair. Can I convince you of Leopold? Because I think you need that big, bulky threat for him to work. And Leopold does have that. We're also going to see him in a future role as someone who is subservient.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll buy into it.
All right, and then we've just got to go back to Muchana, since we did not use, or since that was one that we had up in the air for Mouse MD. Do we just want to use Mouse MD there?
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw Mouse MD. It was a good joke, but not good enough to keep in our back pocket.
All right, so Jinbei is tabled once again. Our Cairo Correo is Frostilicus. Our Muchana is Mouse MD. Our Tsukoshiba Kanashi Shitoru is Energizer Bunny. Our Kanoko is Turkish Ship Captain. Our Inazuma is Waylon Smithers Jr. Our Francois is Strongman Pin. Our Ivankov is World War II Abe Simpson. Our Sunakov is Ernie. Our Usakov is Big Tom. Our Billet is Bearded Eliza Simpson. And our Shiryu is Leopold. This one ran long, but we had some fun tangents that hopefully you enjoyed as well. Janine.
Yes.
Where can people find you online?
Well, you'll be able to find me on Blue Sky, Janine Juliet.bisky.social. You can also find me on Instagram at Janine is dope. I don't think I'm on anything else. I don't know. I signed up on a few accounts and stuff, but like never really got back to them. It's really hard, especially if some of them like don't have apps, because like I'm so bad at going at websites, especially on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like 50 billion tabs open on like my phone's browser. It's terrible. It's embarrassing. Don't look at my phone. Don't go through my phone.
I get rid of my tabs every few months, except for the ones that I need to hold on until I'm actually going to use them.
That sounds not that surprising, considering you as a whole person, but also like a Herculean task if I were to do such a thing.
I mean, currently in Chrome, instead of giving me a number, it gives me a colon and a D, like a capital D, like a smiley face. My first tab that I have is Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania Secrets, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, I can get rid of that one. I can get rid of this old AV Club tag. I feel like it might have just eaten some of the earlier ones that I had on here. Hey, there's a Wikipedia page for chopped cheese.
And we start a new podcast idea, Closing Tabs.
Closing tabs. We are going to talk about what we think we were searching for. Closing tabs. We are going to close them, and we don't need them anymore. So close out all your porn tabs and photos of your dead dad. We don't want to bring that up. Closing tabs. You don't have to join us, but then please shut up. I know I don't want you to see these tabs. There's just so much weird stuff in these tabs. But I guess we'll talk about these tabs, so talk about them.
I have a tab for U-Haul right here. I haven't like rented a U-Haul in like almost a year now.
But you know, Ivankov might need that, and then they'd say, U-Haul!
Like, I got so many fucking tabs.
Yeah, but this isn't the tab show.
You just did a whole song for it. I just wanted to live inside of that moment too. I have a tab for Beehive and Minecraft Wiki. I haven't even played Minecraft in months.
I have a Polygon article for about how the most recent season of What If was disappointing. Here's the order received tab from Outback Steakhouse, because sometimes you want a disappointing but alright meal because the Great North made you want to have the Australian themed restaurant from that show.
Hey listener, why don't you tell us about a tab you have in the next 5 seconds?
Interesting.
That one's my favorite too.
I'm not going to say that. That could be something freaky, Janine. You've just agreed to something freaky. All right. You can find me on Blue Sky at Coltreg. Hey, you can read Deer Hunting, a trans comic that I wrote last year that had its finish release last week. Yeah, you can find that at a few places. I need to figure out how that's going to be sold. Or if you go to Silver Sprocket, you can find another comic that I made with Siri Viljaka called The Clay, which is also very queer in a positive way. And yeah, Mike Patten is our cover artist. You can find him most places at Patten Pending, PATTENPENDING on the social medias. And yeah, DohMance Dawn, we update every other week. Stuff is getting wild. Hopefully we don't have anything weird that is going to upend our plans for the show coming soon, but you never know. And speaking of plans being upended, Janine, guess who's going to show up on the next batch of episodes of One Piece?
Is it me?
Yeah, this is how we find out that you got isekai'd.
Oh my god!
Enjoy having a body drawn by Oda, I guess.
Oh,
We'll see
I'll
you.
enjoy that a lot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, my friend. We will see you in 2 more weeks. If you want to get ready before I officially announce it, yeah, we're just going to make Jinbei our next pick for open suggestions. So send us all your Jinbei suggestions, join the Discord, and have a wonderful trip. Smooth sailing. Watch out for that other warlord coming into the prison. Peace.
That what?